Gavin froze, the words hanging in the air like smoke from a fresh wound. The party swirled around him in a haze of designer gowns and tailored tuxedos, Wall Street wolves nursing scotch, socialites with diamonds that could fund a small nation. All eyes now turning toward the unassuming busboy in his ill-fitting black vest. He'd been invisible all night, weaving through the crowd at the Hale penthouse with trays of hors d'oeuvres, dodging elbows and egos sharper than the caviar knives. But Alex Hale, the 35-year-old tech mogul who'd built a fortune on apps that predicted your heartbreak before you felt it, had a knack for spotting vulnerability. And tonight, vulnerability was Gavin's middle name. "Mr. Hale, I'm not," Gavin stammered, his voice barely above the hum of the jazz quartet in the corner. Born in a Rust Belt town outside Pittsburgh, he'd come to New York 3 years ago chasing dreams that tasted like fool's gold. Music, freedom, a life where his voice could matter more than his shoe size. But rent didn't pay for auditions and pride didn't fill an empty fridge. So here he was, 24 and scraping by on tips from events like this, where the air smelled of money and regret. Alex leaned against the grand piano, his broad shoulders straining the seams of his bespoke Tom Ford suit, a lock of chestnut hair falling artfully over one eye. He was the kind of handsome that hurt, sharp jawline, piercing blue eyes that could undress you or dismiss you with equal ease. "Come on, Gavin. Everyone here's dying for a real show, not this canned crap." He waved a hand at the band, who faltered into silence. A murmur rippled through the crowd, half amused, half predatory. Bets were probably already being whispered. How long before the busboy cracks? Gavin's heart hammered like a bass drum in his chest. Singing? Here? The last time he'd belted out a tune for an audience bigger than his bathroom mirror was at a dive bar open mic 6 months back, where the only applause was from a drunk who thought he was Adele. But something in Alex's gaze, mocking, yes, but laced with a flicker of curiosity, lit a spark. Or maybe it was the rage bubbling up, hot and unbidden. Fine. If the silver spoon asshole wanted a spectacle, he'd get one. He straightened, brushing glass from his slacks, and cleared his throat. The room seemed to contract, the city lights twinkling mockingly through floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. "All right," Gavin said, his Pittsburgh lilt softening into something rawer. "But don't say I didn't warn you." He started soft, a cappella, the first notes of Hallelujah, by Leonard Cohen spilling out like a confession. His voice, rich, tenor-edged with gravel from too many late nights, filled the space, wrapping around the guests like fog off the Hudson. It wasn't showy. No vibrato fireworks or pitch-perfect polish. It was honest, cracked in places where the lyrics hit too close. "I've seen your flag on the Marble Arch and love is not a victory march." By the chorus, jaws slackened. A socialite in emerald silk clutched her pearls. A hedge fund bro paused mid-sip, scotch forgotten. Alex's smirk faded first. He pushed off the piano, arms crossing over his chest as if to shield himself. Gavin's eyes locked on his, defiant, alive for the first time all night. The song built, Gavin's half-body swaying slightly, hands gesturing like he was pulling the words from his gut. "And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of Song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah." Tears pricked Gavin's eyes, not from fear, but from the truth of it. His own fractured faith in love, in New York, in himself. When the last note hung and died, the room erupted. Not polite claps, but a roar. Whistles, cheers, someone yelling, "Encore!" from the back. Gavin blinked, chest heaving, the world tilting back into focus. Alex stood rooted, color draining from his face, eyes wide with something Gavin couldn't name. Shock? Hunger? The mogul clapped slowly, deliberately, the sound cutting through the din like a blade. "Jesus, kid," Alex muttered, close enough now that Gavin caught the faint scent of his cologne. Sandalwood and sin. Where the hell did that come from? Gavin wiped his palms on his vest, adrenaline buzzing like cheap wine. "Family secret. My mom used to say voices like mine are God's way of saying sorry for the rest." He forced a grin, but it wobbled. Up close, Alex was even more disarming. 6'2" of quiet power, with laugh lines that hinted at a man who'd once believed in something softer. The party refueled around them, guests swarming Gavin with business cards and breathless offers. "Scout for Sony. Demo tape stat. But Alex waved them off like flies, his hand firm on Gavin's elbow, steering him toward the balcony doors. Not so fast. You owe me a drink for that stunt. Outside, the November chill bit through Gavin's thin shirt. Central Park, a dark sea below dotted with joggers' headlights. Alex poured from a hidden flask, top-shelf bourbon, smooth as a lie, and handed it over. To hidden talents, he toasted, clinking against nothing. Their fingers brushed, a spark jumping despite the cold. Gavin took a swig, the burn steadying him. You forced me, remember? Not exactly hidden if you're shoving me on stage. Alex chuckled, low and genuine, leaning on the railing. The city hummed below, a symphony of ambition. Guilty. But damn, Gavin, that wasn't just singing. That was soul. His voice dropped, eyes tracing Gavin's face in the moonlight. The scar, the stubble, the way his lips still shaped echoes of the song. For a beat, the air thickened, charged with unspoken questions. Was this the mogul's flirtation, or just the bourbon talking? They talked, or rather Alex pried and Gavin spilled. Grew up in a steel town where dreams rusted faster than the mills. Dad split when he was 10. Mom sang hymns to drown out the chemo bills. New York was supposed to be salvation, but it chewed him up. Wait tables by day, bus events by night, scribble lyrics in stolen moments. I'm good at invisible, Gavin admitted, staring at the flask. Keeps the hurt at bay. Alex nodded, shadows playing on his face. Invisible's my specialty too. Behind the boardrooms and the headlines. He paused, glancing back at the party lights. Ever think about going pro? I know people. Real people. Gavin laughed, bitter. Yeah? And what, you my fairy godmother now? But the offer lingered, warm against the wind. Alex's hand grazed his shoulder, casual but not. Fairy godfather. Stick around after cleanup. We'll talk. The night blurred after that. Gavin mopped glass, served stragglers, but his mind replayed the touch, the gaze. By 2 a.m., the penthouse emptied, leaving echoes and empty flutes. Alex waited in the study, sleeves rolled up, tie loosened, looking less like a titan and more like a man unraveling. Sit, he said, gesturing to a leather armchair. Gavin did, legs shaky. Papers scattered the desk. Contracts, headshots of starlets Alex had launched through his entertainment arm. I'm serious. Your voice, it's electric. Let me get you an audition. No strings. Gavin's pulse raced. Strings? There were always strings in a city like this. But Alex's eyes held no pity, only a quiet fire that mirrored his own. Why me? He whispered. Because tonight, Alex said, leaning forward, elbows on knees. You made me remember what it feels like to feel something real. Their knees brushed under the desk. Neither pulled away. The clock ticked. Outside, a siren wailed. A New York lullaby. Gavin's hand found Alex's on the armrest, tentative, electric. Alex turned it palm up, thumb stroking the callus from years of guitar strings. Stay, Alex murmured. Not a command this time. Gavin did. Dawn crept in, painting the skyline pink, as they talked. About lost loves, hidden scars, the ache of wanting more. Alex confessed his own ghosts. A closet door slammed shut by boardrooms and exes who preferred beards over boyfriends. I'm good at the game, he said, but bad at the heart. Gavin leaned in, breath mingling. Then let's play for keeps. Their lips met, soft, searching, tasting of bourbon and possibility. It was messy, urgent, hands fumbling with buttons, breaths hitching in the quiet. For the first time, Gavin felt seen not as the help but as the spark. But as the sun rose, so did the doubts. Alex's phone buzzed, a reminder of brunch with investors, of the life that demanded perfection. This, he said, pulling back, fingers lingering on Gavin's jaw. It's not simple. Nothing worth it is, Gavin replied, heart full to bursting. Yet even then, in the afterglow, a shadow loomed. Alex's world was built on leverage, and Gavin, raw, unpolished, was about to become his most dangerous investment. Weeks blurred into a whirlwind of stolen moments and sharp-edged promises. Alex moved fast, like everything in his life. A demo recorded in a midtown studio, producers circling like sharks scenting blood. Gavin's voice filled tracks with that same haunting timbre. Lyrics he'd penned in dingy subways now polished under spotlights. "You're a natural," Alex whispered after the first session, pulling him into a supply closet, kisses fierce against the hum of equipment, their bodies tangled in rhythm, Gavin's lean frame arching under Alex's broader one, hands mapping scars and secrets in the dark. Nights were theirs. Rooftop bars in Brooklyn where no one knew their names, or Alex's penthouse. Sheets twisted around limbs slick with sweat. Gavin learned the map of Alex's body, the freckles across his collarbone from childhood summers in the Hamptons, the way his breath caught when Gavin sang low against his skin. "You're my secret weapon," Alex joked once, post-coital glow turning serious. Against all this noise. But the noise was growing. Paparazzi whispers followed Gavin now. Hale's new protege? Next big thing? Auditions piled up, Broadway callbacks, label meetings. Gavin stared at his reflection in green rooms. The scar on his jaw suddenly a signature, not a flaw. He texted Mom back home. "Things are changing. For real." Her reply, "Sing your truth, baby. Always." Alex was the anchor and the storm. By day, he was the unflappable CEO, barking orders in glass towers overlooking Times Square. By night, he unraveled for Gavin, vulnerabilities spilling like the bourbon they shared. "I came out at 18. He admitted one rainy evening, thunder rattling the windows. "Dad called it a phase. Cut me off until I fixed it. Built this empire to prove I didn't need him or anyone." His fingers traced Gavin's knuckles, eyes stormy. "But you make me want to burn it all." Gavin pulled him close, their foreheads touching. "Then let's start the fire." Love, he realized, wasn't the fairy tale. It was this raw, reckless, rewriting the rules. Yet cracks spiderwebbed beneath the surface. Alex's assistant, a sharp-eyed woman named Lena, eyed Gavin with cool appraisal during label drops. "He's investing heavy," she murmured to her exec once, within earshot. "Talent's gold, but strings attached." Gavin brushed it off, paranoia from his old life. Alex swore it was clean. No ownership, just guidance. "Trust me," he'd say, sealing it with a kiss that tasted like forever. The first real audition was at a Soho lounge, intimate, buzzing with insiders. Gavin stepped on stage, spotlights hot on his skin, Alex in the shadows nursing a gin. He poured himself into an original, City Ghosts, a ballad of concrete hearts and fleeting lights. The room hushed, then exploded. Standing ovation, cards exchanged, a indie label rep pulling him aside. "Sign tomorrow. You're it." Backstage, Alex swept him up, spinning him in a bear hug. "Told you." Their laughter echoed down the alley as they stumbled to a waiting car, hands linked. But in the limo, Alex's phone lit up. "Lena, urgent. Board's asking questions. Keep it professional." He silenced it, but the mood shifted. "Just business," he muttered, pulling Gavin onto his lap. They made love in the leather seats, urgent and shadowed, the partition up but the world pressing in. Fame's first bite came subtle. A tabloid blurb, Hale's mystery muse, busboy to breakout? Gavin laughed it off over pancakes at a hole-in-the-wall diner. Alex across from him in a baseball cap, incognito. "Mystery, huh? They don't know the half." But Alex's jaw tightened. "Ignore it. Focus on the music." Gavin tried. Rehearsals consumed him. Voice coaches in Chelsea. Songwriters co-penning tracks that stripped him bare. One lyric, Shadow King, slipped out unbidden. "You wear the crown, but I hold the throne in your hidden size." Alex heard it first, eyes darkening with pride and something fiercer. "That's us," he said, pinning Gavin to the studio wall, their bodies sinking like a chorus. But the boardroom loomed. Alex's company, Hale Tech, wasn't just apps. It had tentacles in media, a streaming arm hungry for content. Whispers reached Gavin through Lena's frosty updates. "Alex is tying your debut to our platform. Big push." He confronted Alex over takeout in the penthouse, skyline glittering like a promise. "Is this about us, or your bottom line?" Alex set down his chopsticks, face softening. "Both. Your gold, Gav. This elevates you, and yeah, us. Together." He knelt, hands on Gavin's thighs, gaze earnest. "I love you. First time I've said that without armor." Gavin melted, doubts dissolving in the heat of it. Love you too. They sealed it slow, deliberate, exploring each other like a new song, whispers turning to moans under the duvet. Afterward, tangled and sated, Alex traced Gavin's scar. We'll build this. No secrets. Lies have a way of echoing, though. 2 weeks later, the conflict cracked open like a fault line. Gavin's phone buzzed during a soundcheck. An email from the label, CC'd to Alex's team. Contract fine print buried deep. Hailtech held 40% creative control with clauses for artistic direction that read like leashes. Gavin's stomach dropped. He stormed the Hailtech tower, badge from a consultant gig Alex had faked for access burning in his pocket. The executive floor was a fortress of glass and steel, assistants parting like the Red Sea. Alex's office overlooked the Hudson, minimalist chic with awards gleaming like teeth. He looked up from a call, surprise flickering before the mask slipped on. Gav? What's? You tell me. Gavin slapped the printout down, voice steady despite the quake inside. Creative control? You're not managing me, you're owning me. Alex stood, rounding the desk, hands raised. It's standard boilerplate. Protects the investment. Investment. The word tasted like ash. I'm not your app, Alex. I'm your. He faltered, the love choking on betrayal. Alex closed the distance, voice low. Boyfriend. Lover. The guy who makes this city bearable. He cupped Gavin's face, thumbs brushing cheeks. I pushed too hard. Let me fix it. But the door swung open. Lena, tablet in hand, eyes narrowing at the intimacy. Meeting in 5. And Alex, the board wants that protege pitch polished. No distractions. She vanished, but the damage lingered. Gavin pulled away, chest tight. Fix it how? By rewriting the rules again. He saw it then, the flicker of calculation in Alex's eyes, the mogul peeking through the man. You used me. From that first song, it was leverage. No. Alex's voice broke, raw. It was awe. You awed me, Gavin. Still do. He stepped closer, desperation etching lines around his mouth. Stay. We'll tear it up. Start clean. The plea hung, tempting. Gavin wanted to believe, in the nights, the touches, the way Alex whispered his name like a prayer. But trust, once cracked, let in the cold. I need air, he said, bolting for the elevator. Alex's wait, echoing down the hall. That night, alone in his cramped Hell's Kitchen walk-up, Gavin strummed his guitar, chords weeping into the dark. The city outside pulsed indifferent, horns blaring like accusations. He texted Alex. Need time. No reply came, but at 3 a.m., a knock rattled the door. Alex stood there, soaked from the drizzle, no coat, eyes red-rimmed. I burned it. The contract. All of it. He thrust a folder forward. Shredded pages, time-stamped. No more strings. Just us. Gavin let him in, the threshold a line crossed back. They collapsed onto the futon, words tumbling. Apologies, fears, the terror of losing what they'd built. Alex's hands trembled as they undressed him. Reverent, as if Gavin might vanish. You're my everything, he breathed, lips trailing fire down Gavin's chest. Their lovemaking was tender, aching. Slow rhythms building to a crescendo of gasps and grips, bodies affirming what words couldn't. Dawn found them entwined, Alex's head on Gavin's chest, heartbeat sinking to the rain. Promise me, Gavin murmured, fingers in his hair. No more games. Promise. But promises in New York were as fragile as bodega coffee cups. The high didn't last. A week later, the scandal broke. Leaked emails, Hailtech docs painting Alex as the puppet master, Gavin the unwitting star in a vanity project. Tabloids feasted. Mogul's gay affair? Love or launchpad? Paps swarmed Gavin's building, flashes blinding as he fled to a friend's couch in Queens. Alex called relentlessly. It's bullshit. Let me handle it. But Gavin saw the truth in the frenzy. The board circling, Alex's empire teetering. Love had become liability. The betrayal hit like a subway derailment. Sudden, screeching, leaving wreckage in its wake. Gavin holed up in Jamal's brownstone, an old theater buddy from open mics, chain-smoking menthols on the fire escape while the city bayed below. Jamal, with his locks and unflappable calm, brewed tea strong as his advice. White boy rich don't mean right, Gav. You deserve a love that lifts, not latches. Gavin nodded, but the ache gnawed deeper. He'd fallen hard. Envisioned duets in dive bars, lazy Sundays in Central Park, a life where his voice harmonized with Alex's guarded heart. Now, every headline screamed manipulation. Hale's hidden agenda, using lover for profit. Friends texted concern. Mom called from Pittsburgh, voice cracking, "Come home, baby. We got enough drama here." But running felt like surrender. Gavin channeled it into music. Raw demos recorded on Jamal's laptop, lyrics laced with venom and velvet. You built me wings, then clipped M for your sky. He played them for a small gig at a village coffeehouse. Crowd intimate, no spotlights to hide behind. The applause was real, untainted. Strangers moved to tears by his truth. Alex, meanwhile, waged war from his tower. Press conferences, damage control, lawyers shredding leaks like confetti. But privately, he crumbled. Nights alone, bourbon his only companion, scrolling Gavin's old texts until the screen blurred. He'd meant to protect, shield their love from the vultures by wrapping it in business. Stupid, arrogant. Now, the man who'd sung light into his dark was a ghost. He tried reaching out. Flowers to Jamal's returned unopened. A handwritten letter slipped under the door. I was scared of losing you to the world, so I tried to own it. Forgive me. Let me prove it. Gavin read it by flashlight, heart twisting, but crumpled it with the rest. Trust wasn't rebuilt on ink. It needed soil, time, rain. The climax brewed at the Grammys afterparty. Hailtech's big splash. A glittering affair at the Standard Hotel with skyline views and A-listers orbiting like planets. Alex hadn't invited Gavin, but fate or masochism pulled strings. A producer, tipsy on champagne, cornered Gavin at the bar. Kid, Hale's pitching you as the redemption arc solo deal. His dime says it's love. Gavin's blood ran cold. Redemption? For who? He slipped through the crowd, pulse thundering, until he spotted Alex. Flanked by execs, suit impeccable, but eyes hollow. Their gazes locked across the room, the party fading to static. Gavin wove forward, guests parting instinctively. "Tell me it's not true," he said, voice cutting low. Up close, Alex looked wrecked, stubble shadowing his jaw. "Ty askew." "It's not what—" Alex started, but Lena interrupted, tablet thrust forward. "Alex, the pitch deck. Later." He dismissed her sharply, pulling Gavin to a shadowed alcove overlooking the high line. The air hummed with bass from the DJ, but here it was just them. Two men stripped bare amid the excess. "I pulled the strings again. After you left, I couldn't let go. Pitched you as independent, but yeah, my funding. To keep you close." Gavin's laugh was bitter, tears hot. "Close? Or controlled? God. Alex, I thought we were past this." He shoved the alcove wall, frustration boiling. "You don't get it. I sang for you that night because you saw me. Not the voice, the mess. Now it's all product." Alex's face crumpled, hands fisting at his sides. "I know. I'm poison, Gav. Empire's a jealous bitch." He stepped closer, voice breaking. "But I love you. Fight for me. Fight with me." The plea hung, raw as an open vein. Gavin searched those blue eyes, saw the boy who'd hidden from his father's scorn, the man who dared to love anyway. His resolve cracked. "How?" he whispered. "Tonight. Stage is yours. Sing it out. We'll face it together." The after-party had an open mic corner, impromptu, for the bold. Gavin hesitated, crowd thickening, phones poised like weapons. But Alex's hand on his back steadied him. "Your truth," he murmured. "Always." Gavin nodded, throat tight, and climbed the low platform. Microphones gleamed, eyes bored in. He gripped the stand, breath shallow, then let it rip. "Shadow King." Unplugged, voice pouring like rain on fire. "You crown me thief in your midnight court. Stole my song for your golden fort." The lyrics twisted their story. Awe to ownership, love to loss. By the bridge, sobs choked him. "But I'll rise from your empire's dust, voice unbroken. In you I trust. No more." The room stilled, then shattered into cheers. Genuine, thunderous. Phones captured it, viral before the echo died. Alex watched from the edge, tears tracking silent, pride warring with pain. Backstage, Gavin collapsed against the wall, spent. Alex was there, pulling him into an embrace fierce as a lifeline. "That was us," he whispered, lips to temple. "All of it." Gavin clung, the fight draining. "Don't make me regret this." "I won't." But as they slipped out a side door, Paps waiting like wolves, the real storm hit. Flashes exploded. Questions hurled. "Alex, is he your beard?" "Gavin, did Hale force the comeback?" They ran, hands linked, into the night. Cab to the penthouse, barricading against the world. Inside, safe. They undressed slowly, wounds laid bare. Alex kissed every scar, every doubt, their bodies moving in reconciliation. Gentle thrusts, shared breaths, a rhythm of forgiveness. "You're free," Alex gasped against his neck, climax building like a vow. "Always were." Gavin shattered first, crying out, Alex following with a groan that echoed soul deep. They lay after, spent and whole, fingers laced. But dawn brought the deluge. Board revolt. Hale tech stock dipped on the scandal. Investors fleeing the distraction. Lena called at 6 a.m. "They're voting you out, Alex. Resign or fight." Alex sat up, face ashen, phone slipping from numb fingers. Gavin stirred, dread coiling. "What now?" Alex met his eyes, decision etching deep. "I fight. For us." But the cost, his legacy, his security, loomed like a guillotine. The boardroom battle raged all day. Suits in shark gray, accusations flying. Alex stood alone. No Lena loyalty, no allies in the greed. "This isn't about shares," he thundered, voice steady. "It's about heart. Gavin's talent isn't leverage. It's lightning. And if you can't see that, you're blind." They voted 7-3 against. Ousted. Empire crumbling. Alex emerged broken, tie discarded, walking the streets until he reached Gavin's door. "It's gone," he said simply, collapsing into waiting arms. "All of it." Gavin held him as sobs racked the unbreakable man. "You have me." The fall from grace was swift, spectacular. A tabloid feast of schadenfreude. Hale dethroned. Love sinks tech titan. Alex's name trended. Memes mocking the mogul brought low by a busboy's ballad. Paparazzi camped his penthouse. Calls from friends dried up like rain in the desert. He sold the tower for pennies on the dollar. Assets liquidated in a fire sale that left him with a modest Brooklyn walk-up and a bank account that whispered, not roared. Gavin watched it unfold, heart fracturing anew. This wasn't triumph. It was tragedy in slow motion. Alex, once the sun around which orbit spun, now shadowed and silent, picking at takeout in dim light. "Should have let you go," he muttered one night, staring at eviction notices for the old life. "Dragged you down too." Gavin knelt before him, hands on knees, voice firm. "We dragged each other, but up's still there." He pulled Alex to the futon. His futon, now theirs. Kisses starting soft, coaxing life back. Their lovemaking was unhurried, exploratory. Gavin atop, guiding rhythms, whispering affirmations against heated skin. "You're enough." Alex arched, vulnerable. Release a cathartic wave that left him trembling, renewed. Mornings became ritual. Coffee black as resolve, job hunts scrawled on napkins. Alex, unschooled and ordinary, fumbled. Barista gigs that chafed his pride. Freelance coding from a library laptop. But Gavin's star ascended untethered. The viral performance spawned offers. A debut album with a queer indie label. Tours booked coast to coast. "Open for me?" he asked Alex over diner eggs, eyes hopeful. Alex paused, fork midway. "Your shadow? Nah, be your equal." He grinned, first real one in weeks, cracked, but bright. Gavin's album dropped in spring. Hallelujah echoes, tracks woven from their tapestry, pain, passion, perseverance. Release party at a Williamsburg warehouse. Graffiti walls, craft beers, fans in rainbow pins chanting lyrics like anthems. Gavin took the stage, half-body bathed in neon, voice soaring. From marble halls to midnight falls, we rewrite the call. Alex watched from the wings, No suit, just jeans and a tee, eyes shining pride. After, amid hugs and high-fives, Alex pulled him aside to the loading dock, city thrum a backdrop. You did it. Without me. With you? Gavin corrected, hands framing Alex's face. That face, scarred now by loss, but softer, truer. Every note's got your echo. They kissed under sodium lights, deep and claiming, hands roaming familiar paths. Back at the walk-up, celebration turned carnal. Walls thin, neighbors forgotten, bodies slick and urgent. Alex took control, pinning Gavin to the mattress, thrusts deliberate, gazes locked in wordless vows. Forever, he growled, spilling over the edge, Gavin following with a cry that shook the frame. But the human in them demanded more than heat. Therapy sessions in a Chelsea clinic. Alex unpacking paternal wounds, Gavin voicing abandonment fears. Love's not possession, the counselor said, neutral ground where egos dissolved. They volunteered at a Queens youth center. Gavin teaching songwriting to queer kids with dreams bigger than their doubts. Alex mentoring coding to bridge the digital divide. Paying it forward, he quipped, but his eyes said redemption. Conflict lingered, subtle as fog. Old flame of Alex's surfaced. A ex-producer, all charm and callbacks. Missed you in the suites. Dinner invites turned tense. Gavin's jealousy flared like a struck match. He's the past. Alex soothed one night, rain lashing windows. You're the score. Gavin searched his face, finding truth. Then sing it with me. They did, duets in the shower, harmonies over dishes, voices blending in the quiet magic of ordinary. Summer brought the tour. Gavin headlining small venues from Seattle to Savannah, Alex road managing with a beat-up van and playlists of their shared ghosts. Backstage hookups turned tender. Quickies in green rooms evolving to slow dances in motel lots, stars wheeling overhead. One night in Nashville, post-show high, Alex proposed. Not with rings, but a lyric scrawled on a bar napkin. Marry my mess? Gavin laughed through tears, tackling him to the grass. Hell yes. No Vegas excess. They wed in Central Park at dusk, Jamal officiating in a thrift store suit. Mom beaming via Zoom from her porch swing. Vows exchanged under autumn leaves. I promise to hear you, hold you, never own you. Rings simple, silver bands etched with notes. Reception, potluck picnic, songs sung till hoarse. Years folded like sheet music. Gavin's second album went platinum, Grammy whispers turning shouts. A win for Best New Artist. Alex in the audience, whooping loudest. Alex rebuilt modestly. A startup for musician apps, ethical artist first. Learned from the best. He'd wink. But the arc bent human. Miscarriage of a dream track. A fight over forgotten anniversaries. Nights where doubt crept in like fog off the river. They'd weather it, always. Apologies in a cappella. Make-up sex that mended more than bruised egos. One anniversary, atop the old Hale penthouse. Now a co-op, balcony rented for nostalgia. Gavin sang their song, voice weathered but warm. Alex joined the chorus, off-key but earnest, arms around his waist. Below, Manhattan glittered, indifferent witness. You forced me to sing once, Gavin teased, turning in the embrace. Alex's eyes twinkled, hand on his hip. Best damn decision. Astonished me then. Still do. They made love against the railing, City Symphony their soundtrack. Slow, profound, bodies attuned like instruments in perfect pitch. Climax crested with the skyline, a shared hallelujah rippling through them. In the afterglow, wrapped in each other, Gavin whispered, We're the story now, not the fall, the rise. Alex kissed his scar, voice husky. And it's one hell of a tune. Life, they learned, wasn't plot perfect. No tidy bows, just threads woven tight. But in the weave, love's labor, forgiveness's grace. They found the human heart. Resilient, ridiculous, achingly real. And in each other's arms, under New York's relentless sky, they sang on.